Hi everyone, I'm Emma, and you're on the Stories by Emma channel. Let's dive into some amazing stories. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you. Crossing paths. Madison hurried through the bustling streets of New York City, her mind racing as she gripped her briefcase tightly. The city's pace mirrored the anxiety bubbling inside her. Today was the presentation that could change her life. A chance to finally step out of the shadow of past failures. As she turned the corner, she stopped dead in her tracks. There, standing in the crowd, was Josh, someone she hadn't seen in years. Their eyes met, and memories came rushing back. They had been inseparable once, chasing big dreams in the city that never sleeps. But life had pulled them in different directions. Madison hesitated, unsure whether to say something or keep moving. She had somewhere important to be, but Josh's expression suggested he did too. Against her better judgment, she stepped forward. "Josh, it's been a long time," Madison said, trying to sound casual despite her surprise. Josh smiled, though a touch of weariness showed in his eyes. Madison, wow. Yeah, it really has been. What are the odds? They shared an awkward laugh, the weight of their shared past heavy between them. Josh looked older, more worn down, but still had the familiar spark that tugged at her heart. "I'm actually on my way to a big meeting," Madison explained, glancing at her watch. Josh nodded, though his eyes flickered with something unsaid. "Yeah, me too, sort of. It's just not what I thought I'd be doing." Madison felt torn between her obligations and the nagging feeling that she needed to listen. Something in his tone made her pause. She checked her phone, calculating the minutes she had left. If she hurried, she could still make it on time. But as she looked at Josh, she realized this might be one of those moments she couldn't afford to pass up. "Want to grab a quick coffee?" she asked, her heart pounding. Josh hesitated, then agreed. They ducked into a small cafe just around the corner, leaving the busy streets behind. Sitting down with their coffees, the conversation started slow, filled with awkward silences and polite updates. Madison learned Josh had taken a job in finance, something he had never seemed passionate about. "I needed stability," he admitted, stirring his coffee absent-mindedly. But stability doesn't always mean happiness. Madison could relate more than she cared to admit. "I get it," she said, leaning back in her chair. "I thought I'd have it all figured out by now. But life has a funny way of taking you places you never planned to go." Josh looked at her with quiet intensity. "Madison, do you ever think about what could have been? If things had gone differently, between us?" His question lingered, and for the first time, she let herself think about it. Memories of late nights and shared dreams came flooding back. They had been so young, so full of hope. But their relationship ended abruptly when Madison chose to focus on her career with single-minded determination. She hadn't regretted it until now. "I do think about it," she finally admitted, her voice barely audible. But life moved on, and so did we. They sat in silence for a moment, the weight of unsaid words pressing down on them. Josh broke the silence first, his voice softer now. "Maybe it's not too late. Maybe some paths are meant to cross again, even if they stray apart for a while." Madison looked at him, her heart feeling suddenly lighter. Could it be that simple? Could they find their way back to each other after all this time? The clock was ticking, and Madison knew she had to go soon. Her big presentation was waiting, the culmination of years of hard work. But as she sat with Josh, something shifted inside her. Maybe success wasn't just about career milestones. Maybe it was about finding the right people to share the journey with. "Do you think we could try again?" she asked, surprising even herself. Josh smiled, this time with more hope than she had seen in his eyes for years. "I think we owe it to ourselves to try," he said. They exchanged numbers, promising to meet up after her meeting. As Madison stood to leave, she felt a strange sense of peace. She didn't know what the future held, but for the first time in a long time, she was excited to find out. As Madison walked toward her meeting, she realized how much lighter she felt. The burden of chasing perfection had weighed her down for too long. She had always believed success would fill the void, but maybe it was the connections she made along the way that really mattered. The meeting still loomed ahead, but it no longer felt like the only thing that defined her. The presentation went flawlessly. Madison hit all the key points. And by the time she left the conference room, she had secured the deal she had worked so hard for. But instead of feeling triumphant, her thoughts drifted back to Josh. Maybe this wasn't the victory she had been searching for. Maybe reconnecting with him was the real win. That evening, Madison and Josh met again, this time without the pressures of the day hanging over them. They talked for hours, picking up where they had left off all those years ago. It felt natural, easy, as if the time apart had only strengthened their connection. As the night wore on, Madison realized her heart had been yearning for this. Something deeper than success, something real. A few months later, Madison looked back on that chance encounter as the moment her life had truly changed. She had the career she always dreamed of, but now she had something even more valuable, someone to share it with. Her path had crossed with Josh's for a reason, and for the first time in a long while, she felt like she was exactly where she was meant to be.